TikTok. I trust you guys are good. Oh, Facebook. Bear with me, guys. I trust you guys are good. Yes, yes, we are back again to our weekly you got this, dearest mommy sessions. Let me share this to my story. Okay, let's start with WhatsApp status. Thanks for bearing with me, TikTok, and then now let's share it to. Pela, I am the producer. I am the marketing officer. I am everything at once. So bear with me, guys. Okay, now we share it here, here, here. Did I share it to the story? I didn't share it to my story. Add to story. Okay. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, guys. Hi, 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 everybody. Welcome on, welcome all. I trust you guys are good. I trust everybody is good. Welcome again to our Friday sessions. Our Friday, you got this, dearest mommy sessions. And as usual, I am warning myself. If you want to learn how to make this, or you want to buy yourself a pair so you can look nice, or you just want to buy them in bulk at retail, at wholesale price, so that you can retail them, I'm your girl. Just WhatsApp the number on your screen and we'll take it from there. And as usual, I'm going to explain them briefly, their meaning, and then we get on with it. But before I explain the earrings, firstly, I just want to say that these sessions are for everybody. Anybody who's born of a woman, anybody who's got a belly button. Sorry guys, my stand is doing shenanigans. Anybody who's got a belly button, which means anybody who's born of a woman, these sessions are for you, because here we are mentoring the feminine vessel. And if you are here, you're a man, you're a child, you are anything outside of a woman, then you're going to learn what a woman is, so that you can be able to blend into society, because you live with woman, right? So your mom is a woman, your sister is a woman, and especially if you are going to be interested in marrying a woman, which means eventually you'll end up being with a woman, right? So you should understand how the physiology, the mechanisms, the biology, the chemistry of a woman. So these sessions are for that, right? They are for mentoring woman, at the same time mentoring men. Because you mentor a woman, it means that you've mentored the whole of society. I forever say this in my sessions, that there is a quote I saw, which goes, half of the world's population are women, and the other half are the woman's children. So basically, the world is filled with women and their children, right? So it's true. It is true. It is not sexist, and it's not what you call toxic femininity. No, it's the truth, right? Right. But it's the truth if you understand it in line with balance. Okay, so that's how it is. Why is my phone moving about? So yes, so in these sessions here we have a diary. This diary, I'm going to read from it when we're done with the session, and this diary goes hand in hand with the book. The book is called Born into Change, right? The diary prompts you to journal, right? Journaling is really good, especially if you're in the pits in life, if you're not at your highest self, you're not doing your utmost good, right? So journaling is strongly advised. That's if it works for you, right? I may advise it, but maybe it doesn't work for you. But truly, it's the first door you should knock upon when you are not doing great, right? So this journal prompts you to journal, write down your emotions, write down your plans, your goals, your visions, right? Just in biteable sizes, right? So you just plan for the day, plan for the week, plan for the month, plan for the year, right? So it prompts you to just journal and plan and do those things in manageable, unoverwhelming sizes, right? Because mostly as a mom, you're extremely overwhelmed by life. You don't need another thing to do now, which is planning and jotting down your emotions, right? And at the back of this diary are emotions, right? Into dialogue by asking simple. Okay. Right. What was I saying? This prompt just disturbed me. What was I saying? Oh, hi, Gwandintagaza. How are you, Your Majesty? Oh, yes, I was talking about the diary. That at the back of this diary are emotions, so that whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, you can just take them as they are and just paste them on the side of your diary, so that whenever you have time, you're feeling less overwhelmed, then you can unpack those emotions then, right? No pressure, no hustle. And then it goes hand in hand with a book. This book is called Born into Change. It takes you from childhood into death, the whole stages of life, right? Helping you name and pinpoint any trauma you may have incurred in your childhood or maybe in your present life, wherever in your life journey. So you can see that, oh, this is the trauma I had. Now it's named, right? Because remember, as I've said, journaling and naming and writing down things, it helps you understand whatever emotion or feeling or incident that has occurred, right? And once you understand it, it loses control over you. It loses the pressure it has over you. So that's the reason why we name, why we now, okay? So exactly, yeah, this book helps you name these emotions. You pinpoint them and then you name them and all that, right? So it's a healing book. Literally, it helped me heal, and I'm the author. Not to blow my own trumpet, but as I read it, I was like, wow, this is a powerful book, and I didn't even know that I had challenges here and there. I didn't know that these might have impacted me negatively, right? So truly, it's really a book that guides you regardless of age, regardless of gender, regardless of race, regardless of beliefs, right? It's truly a diverse book. It's really good. So if you're interested, just WhatsApp the number on your screen and we'll take it from there. And now let's explain the earrings, okay? So these earrings are my June edition earrings. This is the coin, this is a book, and this is the map of Eswatini, because back in the day we had a king in Eswatini, an ancient king called King Somhlolo, right? So he had a vision that white people will come onto our land and they will convince us to either take a book or a coin. So he said that we should take the book and forfeit the coin, because if we choose the coin over the book, we would die a natural death, right? So what this means is people interpreted it as saying that we should forfeit money and take the Bible. However, that is almost further from the truth. What it means is we should chase knowledge, right? We shouldn't chase money, chase knowledge, and then evolve the knowledge into wisdom. Because once you evolve knowledge into wisdom, any other thing in this universe, resources, abundance, whatever there is in the universe, will then chase you, because resources and any other energy there is loves wisdom. So it's attracted to wisdom. So the king was saying, chase knowledge so that you can integrate the knowledge into wisdom. And once you have wisdom, then everything you may think of will follow you, will chase you. But if you chase man, you may fall into the trap of chasing it for eternity and suffering from neurological disorders and nervous system disorders, right? And eventually not getting enough of it, because there is that hole, there is that void you're not filling, the void of wisdom, right? So that's what the king meant. He was not saying that chase, forfeit money and label money as evil. No, he was just saying that chase knowledge and then integrate that knowledge into wisdom. Then once you have wisdom, anything you can think of in this lifetime will chase you, okay? So without wasting any time, guys, let's get to today's week. So today we are on week 28 and we're talking raising emotionally intelligent children, okay? So let's just get to it. Today I'm not even going to marinate you guys. We're just going to go to straight into it. Okay, so what is emotional intelligence? Okay, emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and express emotions, both one's own and others' emotions. Okay. It includes self-awareness, empathy, self-regulation, motivation, and social skills, right? All of those components come from emotional intelligence. Okay, so it was popularized or brought into the mainstream by a psychologist called Daniel Goleman. Okay, but the concept of it, the concept of emotional intelligence, is very ancient. It's very ancient. We find it in African proverbs, we find it in Buddhist teachings, we find it in Stoic philosophies, etc. We find it on so many ancient ways of life. Okay, so but then we're emphasizing in emotional wisdom, right? These philosophies emphasized on emotional wisdom and as a central trait for humanity to grow, right? So yes, parenting. Parenting has always been the first school of emotional intelligence, teaching children how to feel, express, and connect. So emotional intelligence didn't come forth by this Daniel guy. No, he just put it into mainstream. Otherwise, in Africa, African proverbs and Buddhist teachings and some Stoic philosophies, it has always been there. The concept has always been there. Okay, so why does it matter? Why does emotional intelligence matter? Right? Children with strong emotional intelligence form healthier relationships, manage stress better, and show resilience in challenges. Okay, so emotional intelligence, as we've explained, that it's knowing yourself, knowing your emotions, knowing your feelings, and understanding others' emotions, understanding others' feelings. That's what it is, right? It's not the same with the intelligent quotient, right? Which is IQ, which is your mental intelligence, right? So we have mental intelligence, we have emotional intelligence, and we have spiritual intelligence, right? Those are the three basics according to me, and I will always emphasize this, that whatever I speak here is not cast in stone, right? I'm not a guru, I'm not a god, I'm just a person who gets these downloads, maybe sometimes in line with where I am frequency wise, sometimes with where I am age wise, sometimes where I am cultural wise, right? So I may not know everything, but I know more things than the average person, let me put it like that, because it's something I have put my life in it, right? To prove that I'm not blowing my own trumpet, I will say that imagine a person who has a regular 9 to 5 job, right? They don't have enough time to be researching about emotional intelligence. They won't have enough time to be researching about spirituality. They put more of their time and effort into making their organization better, right? So when I'm saying that, when it comes to these things, these subconscious woo-woo things, I'm your guy because I am putting my life and time and energy, more of it, into understanding and downloading these things in the spirit, right? So yes, that's why I'm saying that my teachings are not cast in stone, but I'm just what was I saying? Yes, I was saying that these concepts. Oh yes, no. I was talking about emotional intelligence, IQ, and spiritual intelligence. Okay, these are the core three, right? You may then expand because there are a lot of intelligence you may have out there, right? But whatever you discover, they always fall under these three umbrellas: mental intelligence, which is IQ; emotional intelligence, which is EQ; spiritual intelligence, which is what did I say? Yes, SQ. Spiritual intelligence, which is SQ. So they always fall under these three. Okay, So your mental intelligence is your processing, your logics, your practicals, and all that, right? And your spiritual intelligence is your intuition, your gut, your aura, right? And your emotional intelligence are your feelings, your actions, right? The things you feel and express. But that's not where we are today. I will have a course, I think, let me call it a course on YouTube in line with these live controversies. Today we're talking emotional intelligence in children, raising emotionally intelligent children, okay? So yes, why does this matter then? Well, we've said it that children with strong emotional intelligence from healthier relationships manage stress better, show resilience in challenges. Okay, so now let's talk about the core components of emotional intelligence. Number one, there is self-awareness. Children with a high emotional intelligence have a higher self-awareness, right? So how do you do this? Helping children name their feelings, like I feel the pushes forth their self-awareness, right? So as I've said in the beginning of this life, that once you name something, it loses control over you. It loses the oppression and suppression it has over you, right? So once a child can name that, okay, I feel sad, other than I'm feeling off, I'm not feeling okay, right? I feel overwhelmed, other than I'm feeling off or I'm not feeling okay. It helps them raise awareness that, okay, if I am feeling sad, it means that I was triggered by this. Therefore, these are the steps I can take to calm my sadness. When I'm overwhelmed, I was triggered by this, right? So they are aware of themselves. When they're overwhelmed and when they are angry, they will know the techniques they use or the mechanisms they use to deal with the emotions. You cannot be dealing with anger the same way you are dealing with overwhelm, right? So when you know the difference between these emotions, you know how to deal with them and when to deal with them, right? But then if somebody is not self-aware, they may just say, I feel off, therefore I want to punch somebody, right? You're overwhelmed, you're punching. You're angry, you're punching. You're sad, you're punching, because you're feeling off. You can't put a name on the emotion. You can't label the emotion you're putting on. Yes, I'm against labeling, but sometimes labeling helps you understand the root cause. It narrows down everything, right? Because if something is unnamed, it is just haphazard. It's everywhere. Now you need to collect it together and narrow it so that you can know that, okay, it's overwhelm. I'm overwhelmed by this. These are the things that trigger my overwhelm. Therefore, I know what calms me when I'm overwhelmed, right? And then you understand that, okay, I'm feeling angry. These are the things that trigger me when I'm angry. So I should avoid them in this manner. Or once I'm triggered, this is how I calm anger, right? So now you see that you are being aware. Your self-awareness is improving. Therefore, you're being able to identify these things and know yourself better. So self-awareness. And then number two, self-regulation, right? Teaching children to pause before reacting, to breathe and choose responses wisely, right? So if a children has emotional intelligence, they then automatically have self-regulation, right? As I've said, that once you identify the emotion, if you've identified also its root cause, then you will know how to calm it. That is self-regulation. How do you calm yourself when you're angry? How do you calm yourself when you're overwhelmed? How do you calm yourself when you're sad? They may be different mechanisms, calming mechanisms for each. So you will know that, okay, for anger, I'm using this one. For sadness, this doesn't work. However, this works, right? So you'll know how to regulate yourself without needing any external factors, because most of the time, the only thing you have immediately, even faster than 911 in America, is yourself, right? So if you know how to rescue yourself, then you have made it in life. If you know how to rescue yourself faster than 911, then you have made it in life. I kid you not, right? So self-regulation. Emotional intelligence teaches you how to self-regulate. Okay. Another thing it teaches is empathy. When you have a high emotional intelligence, empathy comes forth, right? So emotional intelligence gives you empathy by guiding you to imagine how others feel, right? Building compassion and kindness, right? So if you know that, okay, this makes me sad, you will then assume that maybe even with the next person, it makes them sad. So you will then refrain from hurting others because you have empathy. Oh, this hurts me, therefore it may hurt. um do unto others as you would love to be done unto you. That is empathy, and it comes with emotional intelligence, what we are talking about today. And also, emotional intelligence bring forth motivation. Okay, so it encourages persistence and joy in learning, even when tasks are hard. Right. So when emotional intelligence makes you understand yourself, what triggers you, how it triggers you, and what happens, what is your reaction to the trigger, and then how do you then calm yourself when the trigger arises, and then what are the results of your calm, how do you look like when you have calmed down, right? So that's how emotional intelligence come forth. So it brings forth motivation. You'll be able to take up a task, and when you take up the task, you'll be able to say, okay, this task encompasses of this and that. However, this is in line with my triggers. So I should be warned. I should be alert so that every time it triggers me, I will know that no, this is just a mere trigger, but I have to go through it so that I can reach my goal, right? So it will motivate you to do what is right in line with your goals. Even though you're meeting challenges, you'll be motivated that, you know what? This is just one of my triggers. It's not a death sentence. It's just a trigger. And let me just power through because I have that goal, right? So emotional intelligence helps you push through so that you can reach your goals and visions, okay? So it gives you motivation. And the last component, according to me, you can add yours, because remember, I'm giving you a template here. I'm not giving you things that are cast in stone. It's a template. Edit it your own way, okay? So the last one is social skills, okay? Modeling cooperation, listening, conflict resolutions, right? So emotional intelligence equips you with these social skills, okay? These social skills that will help you cooperate when there's anything that is happening in society. You are able to cooperate and work together with people, right? You're able to listen to understand, and listen to feel, not to listen to reply or to listen to judge. Just another skill that helps you to keep the peace, not in a toxic way, keeping the peace in a positive manner. That is to say that whenever there is conflict, you know how to resolve it without kshiagnuga, right? Resolve a conflict and just keep on living, because sometimes a conflict may arise and you're like, you know what, fuck off, right? And just like that, the whole thing has come down, okay? But then with social skills, this thing equips you to understand that, you know what, even though I want to repeat the relationship, just nullify this relationship, break it and kill it and just right and it all together, emotional intelligence equips you with the skill of saying, you know what, right now, I feel like just demolishing this whole relationship. However, because we need each other, human beings are social beings, we'll need each other in the future. Let me just say, you know what, right now, I'm feeling like telling you off. So, because I'm in the heat of the moment and I don't want to burn down bridges, I'm going to walk away right now, right? So it equips you with those skills of conflict resolutions. You can resolve conflicts without burning bridges, okay? So now, how do we nurture emotional intelligence in children? Okay. Number one, model emotional honesty, okay? So show children that it's okay to feel. We live in a world whereby we're taught as parents, especially us, parents of today who were born of the generation called the baby boomers, right? The 1960s and 1970s, right? We were taught that you should be strong for your children. Your children shouldn't see when you're going through the most, and your children should just only see your happy side, right? Toxic positivity was always thrown in our faces. So every time you're going through the most, you then try by all means to hide from your children, to perform happiness around your children, even though you're going through the most, right? It's something that has been taught and modeled before us. However, it doesn't show children that it's okay to feel, right? It doesn't model emotional honesty, right? We live in a world whereby we need to now understand emotional intelligence as core, that whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, other than just sitting in your corner or maybe risking lashing out on your children, tell them the truth that, you know what, I am feeling overwhelmed right now. Therefore, I want to sit in my corner and just understand what is happening to me, calm myself, regulate myself, and then come out stronger and more positive for a healthier environment so that everybody can be happy, right? So, okay, can I just check this? Hi, Mtugulu. I want to check this thing here. Okay. Hi, Mtugulu. Thank you for being here, Your Majesty. Okay, as I was saying, where was I before I got disturbed by TikTok? Yeah. Oh yes. I was talking a model emotional honesty. Okay, so modeling emotional honesty looks like that, like relaying to your children what you're going through currently, and then telling them that, okay, this is how I will try my best to cope. So whenever I am doing this to you guys, forgive me in advance, right? Because I may lash out on you, but it doesn't. Yes, Mtugulu, thank you for being here. Mwah, I trust you're good. How are you? It's been long, Mtugulu. Right. So whenever I lash out on you, it doesn't mean that I hate you, but I'm still going through this thing. And then always repair. Maybe you may lash out, right? Because it doesn't mean that when you say that, oh guys, forgive me in advance, then you can just lash out willy-nilly. No. Whenever you lash out, whenever you do actually lash out, then apologize that, okay guys, forgive me, I've lashed out because of ABCD. It is not right and it's not an excuse. Do forgive me, right? So, oh, by the way, before I move on to the next, I want to just clarify that here I am not preaching or speaking theory. I heard somebody saying that, easier said than done, theory. I'm like, no. By the way, I'm a mother of two. That's the first one. And the second one, I never speak something I don't practice, because I know that the universe will then test you. So I speak something that I have gone through. I speak of things that I've been tested on. I'm that kind of person. I'm a coward in nature. I don't like testing the universe. So every time I speak something, it's because I've experienced it before. It's because I've gone through the test. I don't want to speak something then get tested. What if I fail? So no. I never speak theory. If you think that it looks easy, maybe it's because I'm making it look easy, right? Which means I'm a good mentor. Come, let me mentor you. Right, exactly. So let's move on to the next. Now I'm going to talk about creating safe spaces for expression. Okay, that is also under how to nurture emotional intelligence. The first one was modeling emotional honesty. We've spoken about that one. And then the second one is creating safe spaces for expression. Okay, so what does this mean? It means letting them talk without judgment, right? When a child comes forth and maybe suggests something, don't say, how, what the hell is that, right? Or how is that how you, right? You are now judging the child's beliefs, the child's philosophies, the child's inherent, what you call, beliefs and philosophies. Maybe they are coming forth with them from the spiritual realm. Because remember, I always say that children come into this physical realm already fully fledged spiritually. They just need us to guide the vessel so that it doesn't die in the physical. We have to maintain the physical vessel, right? So what we're doing we're just bringing forth the physical, making sure that it doesn't get trapped into adverse situations. Otherwise, the sole purpose, the spiritual, their essence is fully fleshed. They know exactly what they're here to do. So when they say something in line with their beliefs and their core philosophies, after everyone, gosh, TikTok is really disturbing me. TikTok is busy giving me tips. I truly appreciate the tips, but they're really disturbing. Okay, let me just not mind them. Okay, so other than dismissing what they're saying, make sure that the environment is safe for them to express. Oh, that's what you think? Why do you think that? Oh, what made you come to that conclusion? Oh, okay. Do you want my personal beliefs? Do you want to hear my opinion? Right? And whenever you're putting forth your opinion, be like, in my personal opinion, this is what I think. If it counteracts their own personal beliefs or opinions or philosophies, right? In my personal opinion, this is what I believe, however. What do you think of my personal opinion, right? That is emotional intelligence. It's not permissive parenting. It's emotional intelligence. It's really not what we're supposed to do, but it's what I have seen to be the healthiest route in line with coexisting and cohabiting and co-surviving life with children, right? Emotional intelligence has been my way to go because I'm treating this other entity as an equal. Just because it has eaten less food than me doesn't mean that it's younger than me. The fact that I'm bigger, it's because I have had more time in the physical realm. Therefore, I have accumulated more flesh. Otherwise, we're equal. And it's highly even possible that they have evolved more than I in the spirit, in the consciousness, their essence, right? In the subconscious life, in the etheric life, in the quantum realm, whatever you choose to call it, okay? So maybe they're even more evolved than I am. So speak with them like you're speaking with a colleague, right? Oh, okay, this is what you think. Oh, this is how I think. What do you think of my opinion, right? So that's how you create a safe space for expression. And then the third one is teach calming techniques, okay? So, conscious breathing, journaling, movement, right? These are a few techniques you can help your children, you can equip your children with in this journey, okay? Conscious breathing, right? Yes, we are breathing subconsciously because our lungs have evolved into doing these things without our assistance. But then that is subconscious breathing. However, there is this thing called conscious breathing, which regulates your nervous system. It reminds your nervous system that yes, you are alive, yes, you are surviving, but you are saying it. You are understanding it. You are still holding space for it because the nervous system was created to protect the flesh, was created to protect you, the entity in this I can't ignore these tips, guys. I'm failing to ignore these tips, but it's fine. The nervous system was created to protect you, right? So it's always on fight or flight, right? Fighting and flighting is its default go-to, right? So whenever you're doing something, it first checks that can I fight? Can I flight? Right? First. Then you're the one to tell it that no, don't fight, don't flight, relax. Then it calms down, right? So the nervous system, as I've said, with the lungs have evolved into saying, don't worry, I got this, I'll breathe for you, I'll keep you alive. The nervous system has evolved into saying, don't worry, I will fight for you, I will fly for you, right? So you are the one who's supposed to consciously tell it that, no, in this situation, you don't need to fly, you don't need to fight, just relax, right? So when you breathe consciously, you are telling the nervous system that you are safe, don't fight, don't flight, right? So conscious breathing is one of the many techniques you can teach to your kids to calm themselves whenever they've been triggered, okay? So it's conscious breathing, it's journaling. I spoke of journaling in the beginning of these sessions that whenever you write something down, you are naming it, you are witnessing it, so that it loses control over you. It loses the pressure it has over you, right? Once you name it, you can see it as the entity that it is. You are interacting with it as equal, other than when it's beyond your control. You don't understand what is even going on. It's haphazard. It's all over the place. It feels like it's just an entity that is beyond you. So it has control over you. It has power to oppress you. So once you take it and contain it into writing now, it loses the power it has over you, right? So journaling is important in that manner. And then also movement. Movement is another calming technique. You're exercising, your yoga, your whatever you do, jogging, running, whatever you do to move your body, because energy is always moving in the body, right? So when you are stagnant, it also gets stagnant. So whenever it sits without movement, it creates what you call pressure. Imagine water moving through a pipe, and then the pipe gets blocked. Imagine the pressure going on in the pipe. That's the same thing energy does when it's stagnant in the body. So when you move it, you stretch, you do yoga, you stretch, you skip rope, you jog, right? It moves along. You are removing the blockages in the pipe. Those are the calming techniques, right? We're still speaking of how you nurture emotional intelligence. We listed the points of how you can nurture emotional intelligence by: one, you model emotional honesty. Model emotional honesty yourself. And then two, you create safe spaces for expression. And three, you equip them with calming techniques, okay? That's what we've just spoken about. And then the fourth one is use stories and role playing, okay, to explore emotions, okay? For example, we can just read stories of anybody who modeled emotional intelligence, okay? You can do that. Or maybe you can role play by saying that, pretend that you're saying like, I'm feeling sad, I need somebody who can do something for me, and watch how your child comforts you. And then swap the roles. The child be the one that's acting sad, and then you comfort them the best way you can. That teaches them that, oh, when I'm sad, I get comforted, and when somebody else is sad, I'm capable of also comforting them. It's teaching empathy, also equipping them with exploring their emotions, okay? So the last one, according to me, you can add your own or delete some. Praise emotional effort. Praise emotional effort. Don't just only praise what has been achieved, okay? So what is emotional effort? Emotional effort is when your child is literally trying to be emotionally intelligent. For example, maybe somebody got hurt and your child is helping them up and saying, oh, sorry, nehlanga. Right? So when that happens, praise your child that, oh, you tried, right? So those are the things. That's how you praise emotional effort over achievement. Achievement is when your child has mastered this thing. You cannot be a master. Remember, you cannot be a master. But then it's when your child is doing these things without even thinking about them. It's now become a habit. It's been imprinted into their subconscious life, right? So when it's like that, don't just praise them when they've reached that level. Praise them when they are still building towards that level, right? Whenever you see your child regulating themselves, when they are playing maybe, and then they are failing on this game, instead of just throwing tantrums and just destroying everything, you see them breathing. Praise that. That is praising emotional effort, because they're trying. You can see that they're trying to regulate themselves. So praise that. Praise the emotional effort over praising the achievement, okay? So I want us then to understand that, okay, Beacon of Light is now equipping us with these things. What happened? Why don't I know about these things? Why did we get lost? How did these things get lost? How did these teachings or tools get lost? Why didn't I have them? So what happened? How did I lose them? Okay, so let's talk about that. Number one, toxic masculinity happened. What do I mean by toxic masculinity? I mean that human beings started to develop ego, right? Whereby this is mine. You draw boundaries, countries, races, right? We started identifying ourselves in line with geographical locations, ethnicity, gender, and all that. And that led to wars. Remember, masculinity is not just man, right? There are properties that mean this thing is masculine. Right now, ego is masculine, right? There is a video I made talking about the differences between masculinity and femininity. If you're interested, just go to my YouTube and see it there, right? My YouTube video. Hi, Madisam. Thank you, Your Majesty. My YouTube, the link is in my profile. Just click there, you will see all the videos I talk about. So if you're interested in learning about masculinity and femininity, just go on my YouTube. There is a video on that. We're not talking about that today. I'm just saying that ego is a masculine trait. Toxic masculinity is when you are leaning so much on masculinity, which then oppresses and suppresses femininity. Masculinity and femininity should be equal. Your ego should complement your intuition, right? Don't say that, no, I'm a man, or I'm a white person, or I'm a Swati, right? Don't identify so much with your ego such that when your intuition tells you that, no, be careful of this, you're like, no, I'm a man doesn't do that. No, I'm a Swati doesn't do that, right? Listen to your intuition as much as you're identifying with your ego. However, what happened in the past was we then identified so much with our masculine side, which is our ego. We started drawing boundaries. This is my land. This is my this and this. This is me, my nation, right? And then that led to wars. Okay, and then wars. In war, in order for you to survive, you need to oppress your emotion. You don't have to express your emotions. Once you start expressing your emotions, that can be seen as weakness. Your emotions can be used against you. Therefore, you will fail. You will lose the battle, right? So, in order for us to survive back in the day, during these wars, during our toxic masculinity era, we had to lose our emotional side so that we can win the war, right? So that's how we lost our emotional intelligence. That's the first one. It was due to toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity happened to us and we lost our emotional intelligence. And then the second one, capitalism, right? There was an industrial boom back in the day, and we were told that we should leave our motherhood jobs, our family nurturing jobs, our gardening and agricultural jobs, and our nurturing jobs, and focus on the 9 to 5 because it's what brings money. It's what brings money to the table. It is what is the most valuable thing there ever is. Money is the most valuable thing there ever was, right? So then industries came forth. So now you were forced to go there and be this rigid boss person, a boss babe, boss guy, right? So go in there, don't show emotions, because if you show your emotions, you will then start bootlicking. You will either be the doormat or you will be the master, right? So this hierarchy of subordinates and boss then came forth in line with the industrial boom. It didn't come forth in line with the industrial boom per se, but it was then exaggerated and made to be normal. It was normalized. Yes, it was normalized by the industrial age, by the industrial boom, right? So to survive, you need the money. And for you to make more money, you need to be superior. You need to be able to step on the others. You need to be the winner. You need to be on the top of the pyramid, right? So in order for you to be at the top of the pyramid, you need to be emotionless. Don't show your emotions, because your emotions are your weakness. Once you show your emotions, they may use them against you, and you will get below the food chain and lose your spot at the top of the pyramid. Okay, so the industries, the industrial life shows us that. Okay, so we then lost our emotions in line with that, because everybody is taught that suppress your emotions or else you lose. Suppress your emotions or else you will be eaten. Right? We live in a world where it's saying eat or be eaten. So for you to avoid being eaten, you should eat. And for you to eat, you should be emotionless. Okay, so that's where we also lost our emotional intelligence. So I mentioned toxic masculinity, and now I'm mentioning capitalism. The third one that happened is patriarchy. Okay, what did patriarchy do? Patriarchy propelled toxic positivity. Patriarchy did only hurt woman, but it also hurt men, right? And I'm talking about the toxic patriarchy, the modern day patriarchy, right? It really hurts men and women because it tells them to, shh, if you're a woman, silence yourself. Don't speak ill of your husband. Don't speak ill of your family. Shh. Don't express your emotions. Don't cry. A strong woman doesn't cry. Be imbogodo, right? It tells men that men don't cry. Be strong so that you can provide for your family, right? Men, don't be weak or else, right? So patriarchy instilled that in people, and that's where we also lost emotional intelligence. Okay, so that is what happened. Okay, so now let's go to the case study. There's always a case study in our sessions. Yes, case study. Sorry guys, I need to. Okay, so case study. Tabo's daughter often cries when frustrated with homework. Instead of dismissing her feelings, Tabo sits with her and says, I see you're upset. Let's breathe together. Right? What is Tabo doing? I see you're upset. That's what he did, which is to name the emotion. Now we have contained it into what? Frustration. It is not just feeling off, because feeling off is too vast and you cannot put your finger on feeling off. That's what then makes you then feel like, I'm not in control of myself, right? Because this emotion is too vague. It's too large for you to fathom, right? So then you then feel, but then when you contain it into saying it's just frustration. See, now it's an entity you can see and witness and interact with. It has lost control over your right? So now what did Tabo do? Tabo has helped his daughter contain the emotion and name it frustration, right? I see you're frustrated. And then he says, let's breathe together, right? Now he's incorporating a calming technique, which is breathing, right? So he's equipping the child with tools that, breathing can also aid with frustration. It's giving the child a foundation, a base, a template to evolve further on. It's highly possible that as the child grows, they may discover that, you know what, breathing doesn't really work for me when I'm frustrated. However, going for boxing helps me better, or maybe screaming helps me better than breathing. But then what did Tabo do? Tabo has given the child with the template, has equipped the child with a template that, okay, this is what you can do. It's just a template. It's not cast in stone. It's not a one size fits all. It's just what you can do. Edit it your own way. Just like what I'm doing with these sessions. I'm not saying that do what I'm saying. And I'm not saying what I'm saying is cast in stone. It's the be all and all. I'm just saying that here is a template. Edit it your own way. Hell! Take down the whole thing and be like, you know what? This is me, right? But however, I have given you the leeway, right? I have paved the path, the beat. I have shown you the direction that, okay, it's over there. I'm looking everywhere. At least I have shown you that, okay, it's that way. Then it's up to you how you're going to pave the way, how you're going to bulldoze whatever obstacles that are in line with your vision or your pathway. But I have given you the direction. It's easier now, right? So that's what I'm doing here. And that's what Tabo did for his child here. He said, then let's breathe together. And then he held her, or what he did was he held her, name the emotion, and guided her to try again with patience. Okay, over time she learns that emotions are signals, not enemies, and develops resilience in problem solving, right? So you see, now the child understands that emotions are not my enemy. When they arise, they want to tell me something. So the first thing I should do is to just understand the emotion, witness the emotion, not to just shun it away. Because the more I shun it away, the more it gets bigger and more confusing. That what is this thing? Shun it away, it gets bigger, right? And now you'll be more confused. Now you'll even incur some illnesses that are not in line with what was going to happen, where you just had to name it in the first place. Okay, so yes, you are equipping the child with concept, as they said here, of naming, right? Bringing it here and understanding it so you can interact with it like another entity. That, okay, I see you, I understand you, I respect you, but then you're not what I need right now. So it then goes away. This thing is just like what? I need to make an example. Let's make an example with a child. When a child comes to you and just keeps on pestering, mommy, mommy, oh daddy, daddy, can I have candy? And you're like, ignore. And then they come back again, mommy, 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 can I have candy? Ignore. And then they come back louder, mommy, mommy, can I have candy? Right? So ignoring it doesn't work, just like with the child. You have to address it, witness it and address it. I understand that you craving candy right now. However, I feel like you've had so much candy for a day, right? Or we don't have enough money for candy right now. We will then buy it when enough money comes forth, which is very, very soon. Okay, so when you witness this thing and address it like you're addressing another entity, like you'd address your child, it then goes away. So let's equip our children with that tool that do not ignore or shift away your emotions, because they will come back bigger and louder and more frustrating. Okay, so let's equip them with the fact that emotions should be witnessed, explored, and addressed. Okay, so that's what Tabo did here. Now the child is emotionally resilient. They know how to problem solve. They know how to deal with these things on their own. You see? So that's the aim. Let me charge my laptop, guys. My laptop's battery is low. There we go. So that's our case study. So now we're having an analogy. Okay, so our analogy for today. Excuse me. Emotional intelligence is like a compass. Without it, children may wander aimlessly through feelings, overwhelmed or lost. With it, they can navigate storms, find direction, and connect meaningfully with others. Parents provide the compass by teaching children to read their emotions and steer wisely. I feel like this analogy is just the exact thing I just said, in line with these sessions I give to you guys, that these sessions are a compass. Just like emotional intelligence, when you give your children emotional intelligence, when you help them practice emotional intelligence, it's like you're giving them a compass in the wilderness of emotions. Emotions are like a wilderness. So when you give them emotional intelligence, you're giving them a compass that, okay, when there is a storm here, this is your true north. This is your true north. It's like giving them a compass with the true north, pointing them home, always pointing them home. This is your base. This is your foundation. Whenever you're feeling overwhelmed in this jungle, this is your true north. Your base is over there. Your foundation is over there. Don't get lost in your emotions. So I like the analogy. I like it. It's really powerful. It's really powerful. And then now let's go to some notes, where to draw the line, because I've just recently seen that my sessions are a bit, they're not for everybody. Yeah, let me just say that. They are for those who are in line with my kind of parenting. So if this is not your kind, you can gladly leave. But then if it's your kind, you may sometimes be lost in translation, misinterpretations, and all that. So I then have this session. It will not truly eliminate 100% the misinterpretation and translation things, but I think it will help me put forth 5% of the disclaimer, so that whenever you may have misinterpreted, it may just put you in line a bit, right? So when to draw the line? Number one, you should have guiding questions for your children. So a child in this case should ask themselves that, is this emotion guiding me towards growth or trapping me in harm? Right? Because sometimes we may say that this is your true north, giving them the child this true north. But then when they are holding this compass and is pointing them to the true north, when they follow that true north, they're like, no, this is not me. It actually harms me. It brings me more harm than good, right? So a child should always ask themselves that, right? When they are old enough to ask themselves. But then when they're still not old enough to ask themselves, when they bring forth a grievance or a query to you that, okay, I feel like this is what you've been teaching me and this is what you believe. However, to me, it does this and this and that in this way. Then that's when you sit down with your child like an equal entity, like a colleague, just as I've said, and discuss this with them, come to a compromise, okay? So the first question your child should ask is that, is this emotion guiding me towards growth or trapping me in harm? Okay. The second question they should ask themselves is, am I expressing my feelings in a way that helps me connect or in a way that isolates me? I want to go deeper in line with this question, because somehow, in as much as it's a disclaimer, it is also putting somebody else in another pit. Because here it sounds as if the child is saying that expressing my feelings should make sure that whenever I'm expressing my feelings, I should make sure that I don't do it in a way that isolates me. Therefore, I should people please, right? No! No! Okay, I'm getting a puzzle on TikTok. Let's wait for it. There we go. Bam. Okay. Today I'm having low viewership on TikTok. People are not tapping the screen. I think that's why I'm getting these puzzles. Let me just tap the screen for myself for a few minutes so that I don't get a puzzle. Okay. Right. Exactly. So I was saying that it doesn't mean that you should then play small or people please so that you don't isolate yourself. No, that's not what it means. It goes back to what I was saying, that emotional intelligence equips you with a way of saying, fuck off, right? It gives you a gentler way of saying, fuck off, right? Whenever you feel the urge to say that, emotional intelligence gives you a gracious, more dignified way of saying it so that you don't burn bridges. The aim of emotional intelligence is to express your emotions, but at the same time, not then burning the bridge you're going to use to get onto the other side. As I mentioned, human beings are social beings, literally socialness, sociability, whatever you choose to call it, is a survival technique. So without other people, without socializing with other people, you can literally die. It can unalive you. It's just like food. When you don't eat, it's just like water. When you don't drink, it's just like sleep. When you don't sleep, the effect is fatal. Even socialization is the same thing, right? So when you are burning down the bridges, there is this new thing that is happening these days, cutting off. Yes. If you are toxic to me, I cut you off. Right? It's actually, this thing is, it's another toxic masculinity that if we are not going to prune it on time, it may lead us to a ditch. I understand that it's okay to cut off. I understand that fuck off sometimes is the best way out. However, let's do it with grace, in a way that in the future, the same relationship that we said fuck off to works for us. Not by bootlicking, not by people pleasing, by just saying it out loud. You know what? At this moment, I feel like this relationship is not working for us. So can we have space? See, that's a very diplomatic way of saying fuck off. I've just said fuck off. very diplomatically, right? So emotional intelligence equips you with that diplomacy, right? This person in the I can still have a relationship with them. I can still be in proximity with them because I didn't burn the bridge. I didn't unalive the relationship. I just said that it's not working for me right now. And for my sanity, I believe that you should fuck off in a diplomatic way. I just said, let's just part our ways for now because I feel like this is a bit toxic for me, right? So with the second one, whereby I said, am I expressing? It's a question your child should ask. Am I expressing my feelings? If you should ask this, am I expressing my feelings in a way that helps me connect, or in a way that isolates me? Not people pleasing. Will this then isolate me? Is this destroying my social life? Let's come back to the example of food because I want this to sink into our minds that we are not people pleasing and we are not boot licking. Let's come to the issue of food, right? Say you are having this meal and for a second you feel nauseated by this meal, right? You're like, okay. You pause a bit and you try to understand why this meal is nauseating you, right? You don't then just set up and be like, this meal, discard it. I've never seen it like that. Even right now, don't lie. Imagine yourself eating your favorite meal. You love it. You've been having this meal for decades and decades. Now you're eating it and you're feeling nauseous. Are you telling me that you're going to say, F this meal. I'll never eat it again. It's disgusting. Lies. Don't lie to me right now. You will first keep a distance. Be like, okay, let me keep a distance a bit, pause, and understand what happened. Why is it giving me nausea in the first place? It wasn't giving me nausea in the past, right? You will pause and understand that first, right? So that's the very same thing you do in line with relationships, okay? After pausing a bit and you realize that, oh, I was eating it too fast and it's got stuck on my whatever this part is, the esophagus. Yeah, I'm right. It got stuck a bit on my lower end of the esophagus, therefore triggering nausea, triggering the stomach acid to try and pull it down. It's not because I hate the meal or there's something wrong with the meal. I just ate it too fast for my system to integrate it. Okay? And once it's gone, it flows down the esophagus into the stomach. And you're like, oh, I ate fast. And then you resume. You go back to eat. And you eat. Now, slower. Because you've gained the insight of what happened for it to do this thing to you, right? Same with the relationship thing. Am I expressing my feelings in a way that helps me connect or in a way that isolates me? This person has done you wrong. You don't then just say, you know what, I'm cutting you off, go away, very right. You say, for now, this relationship is a bit toxic to me. Find a way to use it if toxic for you carries too much karma or to the next person. Because for me, if somebody says I'm toxic, it irks me. It rubs me off the wrong way. So toxic truly to me is carrying so much karma. So you can find another word. Like for me, the relationship is not working right now. So can I just have space? Right? I respect you. I appreciate you, but the relationship currently is not working. Okay? Done. Don't burn bridges. Don't isolate yourself because your social life is just like food. It's just like water. You need it. But don't put lick. Don't lose your dignity in line with this. Don't people please, right? State your emotions as they are. If you need space, state that you need space, okay? So a lesson for parents. Emotions are valid, but they are not excuses for harmful behavior, right? Teach children that feelings deserve recognition, yet action must remain respectful. Okay? Yes, you were angry, but that's not an excuse to punch. somebody else. Yes, you were sad, but that's not an excuse to start throwing tantrums. Okay, so we should teach that yes, they are valid, but your actions shouldn't then be bad behavior, right? They should remain respectful. Okay, emotional intelligence means knowing when and how to express your feelings, when and how to pause, when and how to walk away, as right? Whenever something happens, breathe and try to understand it first, then act. Don't react to an emotion or a trigger. Act in line with your perception, in line with your beliefs, your philosophies. Don't then, because then that's when then this thing of it was the heat of the moment, I'm sorry, comes forth. Rather to say I'm sorry, go within. Don't be like, what? I'm going to just act in line with the heat of the moment. I will apologize. Sometimes broken things can never be fixed. So rather just prevent breaking them. Okay? That is emotional intelligence. It equips you with the tool of knowing how to handle your dishes, how to handle your nice china, your favorite china plates, right? Because if you just handle them anyhow, because you're experiencing a heat of the moment, they will break, right? And you will never be able to fix them. So always be gentle, even though there is the heat of the moment, know how to handle them. That's what emotional intelligence equips you with the skill to handle your favorite china plates without breaking them, even though you're at the heat of the moment. Okay. So we're at the end of our session. Let's bust some myths, shall we? Let's bust some myths. Okay, myth number 1. Most people believe that it is emotional intelligence is about being a soft pleaser. We've just addressed that. No, it's about strength and respecting yourself, right? Emotional intelligence is not about people pleasing. It's about knowing your limits, knowing your boundaries, and how to communicate them forth, right? So that you don't destroy any form of relationship, you don't destroy your dignity, you don't drag your philosophies and beliefs down the mud, right? So it's about self-respect. When you respect yourself, you will then emit that forth. We always say that the world is your mirror, right? So whatever you are is what the world is giving to you, okay? So when you have boundaries and strength and you know who you are and you know how to express that, it's easier for you to fit into the world, because that's what people will follow. They will follow your aura. They will follow your emit your essence out there. Draw boundaries with grace. Okay? So no, emotional intelligence is not about being soft or about being people pleasing. No, it's about cultivating respect for yourself enough such that it emits into the environment. You respect yourself, it's easier for people to respect you. Okay? So the second myth is children will learn emotional skills naturally. Yes, they will, because they come into this world fully equipped with their spiritual tools, and emotional intelligence is obviously in line with spirituality. However, without guidance, they may suppress or mismanage their feelings, okay? So sometimes they come forth equipped with these beliefs and intelligences, right? But when they are then given a parent who believes that silence yourself. Silence means discipline, right? And then that then interprets into them that, okay, if I speak, I'm being too much, right? I was brought into this world to be a speaker, right? They come forth equipped with the skill of speaking and how to speak. But then their parent tells them that speaking is a no-no, right? So now they have to oppress the skill of speaking. So you see, in as much as they don't learn, in fact, they in as much as they come forth with the skill of emotional intelligence, but if they're not guided, if they're not consciously groomed emotionally, they may suppress their feelings or mismanage their emotions in line with what they're told by their environment. And the environment can be their peers, their caregivers, media, whatever they're absorbing in the environment, which is then contradicting who they truly are, right? And the last myth is IQ, intelligence quotient, which is your mental intelligence, matters more than emotional intelligence. Oh, this myth, I love that we ended with it because it's deep. It goes way, way deeper. Okay. However, emotional intelligence often precedes success, right? It may lead to more success than IQ. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this one, okay? Emotional intelligence is you understanding yourself, respecting yourself, and just cultivating your internal self such that the external environment has no choice but reflect what you are internally, right? So that is emotional intelligence. I know who I am, so I know what I expect in the external environment. Empathy. I hate it when this is done to me, so I will not do it unto others, right? Self-awareness. I know these are my triggers, therefore I will know how to tackle them, right? So emotional intelligence is that. What is then mental intelligence? Mental intelligence is knowing that 2 plus 2 is 4. If I take this step, I will fall into that step, right? Action, I fight, I do. Practicals, practicals, practicals. That is mental intelligence. Let's talk about this. Whenever you want to make a dress, you don't just stand up and go to your machine, your sewing machine, and then just starting making that dress. You may, if you're extremely skilled, but your dress won't come out as perfect as if you had planned that dress first, drew out the patterns, did this and that, measurements, designing it, seeing the template or the blueprint, then making it in line with the blueprint, because the blueprint has been a perfected version of what will come forth, right? So mental intelligence is the actioning part. So you should have both of these in balance. But the emotional intelligence comes first, then the mental intelligence. I'm not saying the emotional intelligence is more superior. No, I'm saying that when you're taking the step, when you're walking, you don't right? You don't jump, you don't use your 2 feet at the same time. First, one goes before the other. One goes before the other, right? It's the best way to walk, because this is extreme training. I'm going somewhere with this. So, for you to execute perfectly, you need to start with the emotional intelligence, then the mental intelligence. Have both intelligence at the same time, equally. Have them both. But when you're taking the step, emotional intelligence, then mental intelligence. Okay? Just like in line with this designing of your dress, first plan the dress, cut out the patterns, design it, make the blueprint, then sew the dress. When you're eating food, you've prepared your food, right? You have your teeth. Your teeth are your mental intelligence. The food is your emotional intelligence. You have these things at the same time. You don't then develop them when it's time to eat. No. Here is the food, the teeth are there. Okay? Have these things. I'm trying to emphasize that. Don't then say, oh, I should then have emotional intelligence first. Then I can have. No. Have them. They are there. But when it's time to execute, know that it's first emotional intelligence, then mental intelligence. Coming back to the example of food, you have the food, you have your teeth, but you don't then chew first. You don't chew first. You first take the food in the mouth, then chew. So emotional intelligence first, then mental intelligence. That's how it should go. Take this food before the other. Design the dress before sewing it. When you chew nothing, then you put the food in. Exactly. That's the end of our session. Let's summarize the hell out of this session. Oh, yeah. Okay. You see? So let's summarize, right? I hope everything is perfect. I won't lag or anything like that. Let me see the router I connected to. Excuse me. Okay. But it's also... I switched off my connection on my phone. Okay, now we're back. Now we're back up. I hope we're back up. But before I summarize, let me let it just sink in a bit. Then summarize. Yes, we have to summarize the session. Let's summarize the hell out of the session then. Okay. Let's summarize. I hope it's back. I hope it's back. I hope it's back because I had switched off the connection. Okay. So let's summarize the hell out of this thing. Okay. So today we were on week 28 and we're talking raising emotionally intelligent children. Our session theme summary reads, this week centers on cultivating emotional literacy in your child. Emotional intelligence isn't just about naming feelings. It's about navigating them with awareness, empathy, and regulation. When children are taught to feel safely, they grow into adults who can love, lead, and live with integrity. The chapter we're going to take this from is Adolescence and Self-Worth 1.2 from our book, Born into Change. It reads, inner dialogue begins as repetition. A teen hears, you're too sensitive, enough times and eventually says it to themselves. These narratives shape self-worth, decision-making, and emotional regulation. They become the background music of identity, playing quietly but consistently. And because they are internal, they often go unchallenged. The teen may believe every thought is truth, not realizing that many thoughts are simply echoes. Wow. The gist of this whole thing is emotional safety is the cornerstone of healthy connection. That is our quote for today. Our quote reads, teach your child to feel, not to fear their feelings. Ooh, baby. That was really powerful. And that's it for today. If you're interested in getting the book I was reading from, you can just WhatsApp the number on your screen and we'll take it from there. And every Friday, 1 p.m. South African Standard Time, we are live here on TikTok discussing these topics. And I always post the lineup on my stories. So if you're interested in understanding what we're going to be talking about the following weeks, the upcoming weeks, just check on my stories, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and WhatsApp. I post the lineups. And if you're interested in buying yourself a pair of these earrings or any other earrings, or you want to learn how to make earrings, or you want to sell them, you want to buy them in bulk at wholesale price for retail, WhatsApp the number on your screen and we'll take it from there. And every Friday, 7 p.m. South African Standard Time, from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. we shall be discussing further on the topics we were talking about at 1 p.m. So we're just going to discuss, share tips, Q&A, right, as a group of mummies. So 7 p.m. South African time we should be doing this. From August upwards, you just pay whatever you have or whatever you can to be part of the circle. But right now, while we're in the month of July, it's free. It's free of charge. You just come forth. We speak about these things. Siyavundisana. We're just equipping each other with skills and tips in line with life. No makeup, no expectations, no nothing. You just sit here holding your child or having your child running around, noise in the background, mess in the background. You're sipping your cup of tea or whatever you'll be sipping. It's fine. There will be no judgment here, just a space to be as messy as you are, come forth as you are, no mask, no expectation, just mummies doing motherhood, okay? So yeah, these sessions will be about that. And if you want just one-on-one mentorship about anything, motherhood, spirituality, whatever, I also offer that. Just WhatsApp the number on your screen and we'll get you and we'll take it from there. Also with the motherhood circle, WhatsApp the number on your screen, then you'll have the link to the circle because the circle is on WhatsApp on this number, okay? So I think that's it. Oh, and these motherhood circles will go on forever. As long as I'm alive, we're going to do them every Friday, 7 p.m. South African Standard Time. Pay whatever you can, okay? So yeah, I think that's it from today. My phone just said no enough space right on time. Hi, Guli. Bye, TikTok. See you guys next week, Friday, 1 p.m. South African Standard Time. Line up on my story. Bye.